Good afternoon, everyone. It's a snowy, cold day here in New England. And what better time for this particular teaching that I wanted to give today? And I said I would talk about making up care packets for the homeless, the needy, possibly the shut-ins, or even if you're out on a hike doing a through hike. There's a lot of hikers that run out of supplies and find themselves in need until they get to the next town. So I just want to share a little bit today, and then we're going to go into making up these care packets, show you what's in them, show you what you can give your fellow man. Well, first, I'm going to read a verse to you. It comes out of 2 Corinthians, and it starts in verse 8. And God is able to make all grace abound to you, that you, always having all sufficiency in all things, may have an abundance for every good work, as it is written, He has dispersed abroad, He has given to the poor, His righteousness endures forever. There are hundreds of passages in the Bible, starting in Exodus all the way up through Revelation, that talk about the poor, the needy, giving of gifts, giving of goods, telling people to sell their goods and give to the poor if they want to enter the kingdom of heaven. And it really does not have to be that expensive. So we're going to go through and show you what one of these care packets look like. Now, if you're like me, when it comes to giving to the poor, let me just put my Bible down. There's a real hard thing when it comes to giving of actual money. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to give money because there's a lot of substance abuses out there, and we have seen and we have heard that they will not spend the money on their needs. They will spend the money to get their fix, whether that be drugs or alcohol. So rather than giving money, it is better to give something that they could actually use and actually they have a need for. Now, when I was doing this when I lived in North Carolina, there were certain homeless people that I got to know from spreading the gospel messages and distributing Bibles and distributing care packets that were not under the influence of drugs and alcohol. So I did give a little bit of money to them. A lot of times I went across the street and bought them breakfast. I spoke about this in another teaching about caring for each other, but today I thought I would just go through and show you the care packets. Now, when I did this in North Carolina, there were a lot more homeless out on the street in the wintertime just because of the warmer weather. Here in New England, a lot of them will find a warmer place to go and not be on the street, especially on a day like today. This morning was 3 degrees Fahrenheit with a wind chill of 3 degrees below zero. So a lot of them have been indoors, but as we start getting more into the spring, the summer, and the fall, we're going to start seeing more and more people out on the street with their signs saying that they need help. Also, as things get more expensive around here, the price of rent has just become astronomical. It's a lot higher than people's salaries, and then the requirement of having 3 months worth in savings or making 3 times the amount of the rent, and then you add your heat, your electricity, or I don't know how the average person or family can afford $5,000 a month between rent, heat, utilities, food. Some of them have car payments. So we may start seeing more and more on the street, especially as things get more expensive and more jobs go away with business closings. We don't know what's going to happen with this new administration that's coming into the White House. It's going to be primarily controlled by one political party, and no, I'm not going to get into politics, but we just don't know what's going to happen. And the only thing we can do is follow Jesus and be sure. So I'm going to show you a packet that our church had made up and gave to the people of the church to distribute. And then I will get into some of the larger packets that I used to do. So the simplest of packs you can do is right here. And in this packet, the total cost was probably maybe $8, maybe $10 with the price of the bag or cheaper that you can actually make up per person. Now, you can probably buy stuff in bulk and actually get it a lot cheaper. me, when I make up these packs, I shop at like Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar General, or around here where I live, we also have what's called an Ocean State Job Lot. That is kind of like a Family Dollar or Dollar General. It's just it has higher end stuff on like the same price level as your Family Dollar or Dollar General. But we also have Dollar Tree around here too. So this is a simple care packet that you can make up, and what's in this one that was provided by our church is a lot of hygiene items that the homeless can actually use, and also snacks. So this particular one has socks because the care of your feet is the most important thing. Any thru hiker or anybody who does hiking or camping know that you got to keep your feet clean, you got to keep them moisturized, you got to keep them dry. So it has socks, it has a face cloth in here, we got tissues, we've got lotion in here, baby powder, we got some crackers and cookies, and we got peanut butter. There's another pack that I had in a bag somewhere that had similar items that also had soap and toenail clippers in it, or fingernail clippers. So those are the packs of the most simplest that you can make up. When the grocery stores and other stores used to give out the plastic bags, I used to make up grocery size bags. When I lived in North Carolina, I used to make up, plastic grocery size bag about the size of this one. And in the wintertime, I would put hat, gloves, I would put larger food items, maybe a can opener if I was giving them canned goods as well. I would put full-size Bibles. I would put just a bunch of different other things that they could use on a daily basis. Now, as far as Bibles go, if you were doing the simple pack like this, Dollar Tree and Dollar General, they're getting harder to come by, but you can pick up either full-size Bibles or just the New Testament. Some have the New Testament and Psalms and Proverbs and size right here. And you can actually slip that right into the plastic bag. The other thing you can put in to help share Jesus with them would be if you have various cards from your church, like this one here says, Jesus loves you and we do too, and it says we love our city. You can also have, I picked up various Bible tracts or gospel tracts that I can put in there. So there's a lot of stuff that you can actually put in these homeless packs to give out to people. And I would suggest driving around and giving them to those standing on the street corner. If you're by yourself, that is the safest, so that you can actually lock your door and just slip it through the window, because some homeless people are dealing with mental illness, although I've never run into this myself where a homeless person or somebody in need with a sign was of any problem. I've seen people actually go to like Subway and get either the 6-inch or foot-long grinders and give it to them, and I've seen people just eat those right up right away. But I would say if you were going to go to a place where you see tents set up like homeless encampments, or maybe a homeless person living in a tent somewhere, and approach that tent and give them a care packet, make sure you do it in a group or one other person to be safe, just in case you deal with somebody who has mental illness. Like I said, I've never run into this myself. Every time that I gave to a homeless person, whether they be on the street with a sign, I pulled up my car on the side of them, or actually I found somebody walking around, or there may have been a tent that I happened to be passing by, and check to see if anybody's in there, and offer them water or whatever. Jesus has always protected me, and you can rest assured that Jesus will go before you and protect you too, but just make sure you're being safe. Yeah, I just thought I'd take this little bit of time to show you what you can put into these care packets, because helping your fellow man and giving to the poor and everything is discussed all throughout the Bible. There's a lot of passages, and in fact, in my Bible itself, if I go back to the concordance that's just in the back of my Bible, now this is not like a Strong's concordance that's going to have every single reference in it. But if I go back to where it says, talking about the poor and the needy, right here, all the way down, I don't know if you can see this too well, but right here, all the way down and all the way up here. So basically a little more than one whole column has verses in it about the poor. Giving to the poor, talking about the poor. You talk about need and the needy. We have 30 just in this little concordance that talks about need, needy, Jesus supplying for your need, us caring about the needy, us supplying for those in need. So it was something that was heavily on God's heart and on Jesus' heart, that we actually give to the needy. Now, if you remember the parable of the rich man, well, the rich man has said, what do I need to do to get into the kingdom of heaven? And he was told, sell all your possessions and give the money to the poor and the needy. Now, I'm not telling you to sell everything and give to the poor, but at least out of what we have, in addition to our tithe, this could be giving up above, an offering up above, is giving to your fellow man in his time of need. So I figured I'd just share that short little thing with you, and I'm going to go through gathering up more supplies so I can make up more packets, because I am down to my last 2 right now. So I hope you have a blessed time, and I hope this teaching just helps you carry out your walk with Jesus and helping our fellow man, just with these little packets. And we'll see you the next time.